Hi, everyone. Welcome to Just My Honest Opinion. I'm Mike Caraccio. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. Before I start on any of the topics or any of my usual spiel, I just want to say that my thoughts and prayers going out to all those affected by Hurricane Helene, particularly in South Carolina. I know that's still a disaster. Here we are, 10 days, heading for 11 days after that disaster. And I hope and, and really pray that things are getting better for you. I know I've been watching the news and I see there is a lot of help, a lot of people volunteering, in particularly to do everything they can to bring you guys relief. So I hope you're getting it. I hope you're maybe watching this or somebody's watching it that has family down there watching this episode to let you know that I am confident that there are millions of Americans that are really pulling for you to come out the other side uh, as well as you can be and as soon as you can. So we haven't forgotten you, and please don't think that the American people have. I don't believe they have. Um, with that said, I want to now address the folks in Florida, in particular the Tampa area. I have some family and friends down in Florida, particularly in that area, and now we have a Hurricane Milton barreling towards you. I believe it's a Category 5 right now. Um, only thing I could say to you is please stay safe and do yourselves a favor, get the hell out of the way. Don't mess around. Don't sit there and say we can ride it out. We're Floridians and we're used to this stuff. Just if we haven't learned anything over the last, I don't know, several episodes of hurricanes and these types of weather coming through your state, is that better safe than sorry, folks. If you can't get out, I'm sure there are shelters and such. Um, I've looked at a couple of things on social media, some tweets and such. There are ways for you to, if you can't afford or you don't have any, friends or family and stuff that you can evacuate to. There are many uh, organizations and ways for you to actually, for lack of a better term, get hitch a ride to one of the many shelters that Governor DeSantis and I'm sure your county, local officials and stuff have set up. So uh, nothing, not a house. There's no property that is worth your life. Uh, so please do yourselves a favor. Get to safe grounds for your own sake. And again, my thoughts and prayers are with you to get through that, and hopefully no harm comes to you or your loved ones. Okay, so gonna open up with my usual spiel, and as I say, sometimes you see my eyes go up because I got multiple uh, monitors going on here. Just want to bring up my usuals before I really dive into my topic today. Uh, gonna ask uh, you to get out to Rumble and please register and follow my channel. If you like this content, hopefully you do. Even if you don't like it, can you please follow me anyway and such? I don't mind debating. If you want to debate with me, back and forth, I don't ignore anybody. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion too. You can even have a bad opinion of my opinion. So if you can, please get out to Rumble. That's the URL up there. I need a lot of followers and such before Rumble will allow me to customize my URL, and hopefully I'll make it something more palatable and easier to type in. So you guys can help me out with that. I am gonna tell you is that I've been out of work. Um, so I am trying to monetize this and stuff to kind of, I mean, financially, times are hard to begin with. It was hard enough while I was employed, but now that I'm unemployed, not trying to get you to feel sorry for me, but I'm trying to do something to kind of supplement until I can get myself employed again. I mean, it's rough going out there. So if you could, I truly would appreciate if you can just, and it doesn't cost you anything to get out to Rumble. You just register, go to my channel, uh, you know, follow my channel, and even if they start sending you stuff, you can unsubscribe from getting emails. And I know you don't want spam and all of that, so you can always tell them not to do that. But you'd be helping me out, and I believe me, I would be truly appreciative. Most importantly, it would be great if not only do you follow me, but if you do have any comments or questions or anything you would like to add to any of the topics of my videos, uh, please feel free to comment about them. Feedback is always and greatly appreciated. If you have something more in depth you got to say to me, either nice job, Mike, or Mike, you're an idiot, you have my email address there, and it's mjcgemini@verizon.net. And as I asked, if you could just put JMHO in the subject of your email, I can have my email filter do its magic so that I don't miss your email, because I got a very special place for that and stuff. And believe me, if I can't answer it directly, maybe you come up with a topic and such that you'd like me to get my opinion on and such, that you'd like me to do one of these uh, uh, episodes. Sorry about that. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself in my head a little. But if you have another subject that you might want me to address and give you my opinion on and such, you can, give me an email and stuff. Tell me what it is. And I will most certainly consider it and probably do one. So you're, again, my the audience has just as much say in what I do as I do, uh, as long as I get that feedback. So thank you, and I'll bring this back up, of course, at the end, so to just kind of remind you. And great. All right, as you can see behind me and such, and I know it's October 7th, you kind of see my background has changed. Uh, Today is the year anniversary and stuff of the tragedy and horrific attacks that happened over in Israel on October 7th a year ago in 2023. There were Hamas terrorists that basically invaded Israel and just started killing people. There were about 1,200 Israelis that were murdered, and there was some truly horrific uh, uh, things that were done to these people. We're talking, rape. We're talking torture. Uh, just absolutely horrible. I know a lot of people you might not have heard. Some people might not have. They might not have really tuned into what occurred over there and stuff. But there was a lot of young people that were killed at a music festival that was taking place. Uh, I'm going to not recommend. This is a very easy suggestion, light suggestion, I'll call it. That if you're not, buying what occurred over there, what Hamas did, I know there's videos out on the internet and such. You might want to search to find. They're not videos that are altered. They're not AIs. They're literally what occurred. That were even taken by some of the uh, Hamas terrorists and stuff to kind of brag and show off what they were doing during that day. That were recovered by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, and the Israeli government. That if you I mean, you got to have a strong stomach for some of the things. I mean, rumor is rumor, and word of mouth, and people sometimes embellish and expand on stories and such. But I've actually seen a couple of them. I'm not. I wasn't. I have no intentions of showing them here because I don't want to upset anybody that is viewing this. But you can go out there on the internet and find uh, what really happened over there to get more, might help get a grasp and stuff of the what uh, the horrors that took place there. Um, I mean, nobody should go through and have to deal with what occurred. But yet here we are, a year later. There are still hundreds of hostages that are still taken, that haven't been returned to their families over a year. I remember being a kid and such when the Iranians took the uh, embassy in Tehran. That was what, 444 days. Still does not compare that, as bad as that was. That doesn't even come close. I mean, we were talking about adults and they were being held hostages, and we always, you can go back and see the videos from 1979 when that was occurring, of them being blindfolded and held captive and such. But they still were not really uh, handled with uh, the terrible. I can't express enough and stuff the horrible treatment and what occurred on October 7th last year by Hamas. I mean, it's beyond tenfold. I mean, let's just, I don't want to sit here and give the hyperbole of the worst thing since the Holocaust. Yes, I can definitely see that. Uh, and like I said, if you go, come on, how bad could it be? Go out and see the videos for yourself. If you're a person who sits there and says, "Oh, it's something the Israeli government's making up," sorry, there's too much out there and stuff that it happened. I mean, there's just too much evidence, and everybody knows it happened. There is no denying it. The things that occurred, like I said, the other thing is the Hamas terrorists that executed this plan and then started executing people and stuff were videoing themselves and stuff because they were proud of what they were doing. And murdering another human being, I don't care who you are, what your organization is, what nationality or whatever the circumstances, to take that much uh, glee and pride in murdering innocent human beings. We're not, just, I can't see anybody sitting there going, well, any peace loving, God fearing person, whatever your religion is and stuff, could accept that occurred and could turn around and say, well, either they were okay to do what they did, or to turn around and say, well, whoever got murdered had it coming to them. Um, Again, if you feel that way and such, I want to hear from you. And if you could give me an explanation, I would really love it. Not just because I feel like it. I mean, I think that I'm a little more, I'm a little deeper than a puddle here, and I hope that you can at least give me a little bit more than that too. So I do just pray that whatever remaining hostages that are being kept from their families. I mean, because we're talking, there's been everything from infants to grandparents have been held hostage, were taken hostage and has been held hostage for a year. I hope they all get returned safely. Um, being an American, being a Catholic, uh, I can't imagine what those families are going through. All I can hope for and pray for is that they find some peace, or you know their faith kicks over and such, and they get their family members back. That's all it comes down to. Get them out of the way. They don't deserve what they're being treated to. Um, Primary reason I bring this up, besides that it's the anniversary, is in thinking and pondering this over the last few days leading up to this. Of course, I did end up seeing there were marches, obviously, in New York, and other places and such, by uh, I don't know what to call them, Hamas, Hezbollah sympathizers. Um, I'm not going to call them, Palestinian protesters or anything. It's like if they're carrying the Hamas flag, they're Hamas sympathizers, and anybody that sympathizes with terrorists and such are despicable in my eyes. Absolutely. I mean, there's better ways to try to do things. Um, I can't imagine. Uh, well, let me just pause here for a second. Where I'm going with this is simply the fact of, with what happened in Israel a year ago. Um, I'm going to ask, having lived uh, through 9/11 as an American, as a United States citizen, um, having lived through 9/11, my question to everybody who might be watching this video, and hopefully you share this video, because for this, if anything, for this question only, my opinion is our country has gotten so weak, and I am scared for it. I am embarrassed by it too. And the reason for that is the question. I want to know, if you were around and alive for 9/11, and if you weren't, uh, go watch the videos of what occurred that day, and then think about to answer this question, please. The question is can you imagine if after, in the United States, and I'm just going to say in the United States, in our country, after 9/11, if what would we have allowed and accepted people marching through our streets, uh, for lack of a better term, cheering or celebrating, or allowing them to be proud of what was done on 9/11, which was killing of innocent people. I understand that, the symbolism of the intention of Osama bin Laden was, you kind of hit the World Trade Center and stuff to attack, you know, the great devil that our country is and stuff, our financial system, symbolically, by crashing them into the World Trade Centers, and also to attack our uh, military by crashing a plane into our Pentagon. And it's believed that the plane that was taken over by the passengers and crashed in Pennsylvania, uh, the basic opinion was that it was probably going to fly either to crash into the White House or into the Capitol, which would have been symbolically attacking our government. Um, regardless of what the symbolism was, innocent people were killed. Innocent people were attacked. We're not talking about armies. We're not talking about, uh, soldiers in the field of battle. We're talking about people who went to work, people who were just living their lives. Uh, we're killed and attacked. We were attacked as a country, but who was killed were innocents. Um, and there was, can you imagine if, that day, the day after, maybe a year after, here we are 20 plus years after the fact, but would we have accepted and allowed any group of people to walk through our streets to celebrate those actions uh, against our country? My opinion is there's no way in hell we would have allowed that. And I could tell you this, why we're allowing it today. I mean, before I continue, I have stated it several times. I am all for the First Amendment. Free speech. They are entitled to their free speech. They can voice their opinions all they want. The problem, part of the problem that I have with what they're doing is that I've seen clips, because everybody's a newscaster now, because everybody's walking around with a phone, and there are actually, these protesters are denying what occurred a year ago, and they're trying to justify the killing of innocent people. Again, go back to, I don't know, the last 15 minutes. Killing of innocent people, I have no, sneak attack is what they did. We as a country did not accept Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. Why would we find a reason for Israel to accept the kind of attack that they went through October 7th in 2023? We went to war over what Japan did. I mean, that was like the last straw. Why wouldn't Israel be allowed to do basically the same thing, and why aren't we giving them our 100% backing? I'm digressing a little bit. I want to keep this in order. So again, I have to ask the question of protesters or people who are for Hamas, Hezbollah. They say they're the Palestinian people. If they're going to represent the Palestinian people, they're having people like me interpret that the Palestinian people are approving of the actions of Hamas on October 7th. Now, I find it very hard that common people and stuff would, again, condone and accept the brutality and the absolute horrific actions of October 7th by the Hamas terrorists. They were killing infants. There wasn't a living thing that they weren't killing, basically. They were killing anything and everybody, and if they didn't kill them, they took them as a hostage. They raped and then killed. I mean, again, just all the horrible things that could be done from one by one human being to another human being. They did it. They did it. You want to tell me it's made up and a lie? Be my guest. But you better come with with some real hard hitting, honest facts, because I have no problems going back and forth with anybody and such, because then I will produce what has been verified and acknowledged and stuff as actual truth, which is what happened. I know that I'm being repetitive on that, because I saw out on some social medias today, Facebook and X and such, that people were still denying it, that it happened. It was a made up, staged, and I can't believe there are that many ignorant people out there. And I'm not talking, any other country. I'm talking about in the United States of America. I can't believe that there are that many ignorant people out there. I mean, you want to turn around and say when it happened, you're questioning and stuff, but at least go out and find the facts. Not somebody told me, or just grab onto whatever affiliation you have or whatever and stuff. Grab onto their taglines and just keep denying it. Find a new set of lies. That's it. At least make it interesting, because you might as well go make up stuff. How we're just it was it was a herd of unicorns or something, because I find it appalling and stuff that society and our country and stuff has gotten to the point that people are just, and like I said, I am for the First Amendment. It also gives you the right to lie. It allows you the right to, pardon the language, but be full of shit. But the thing is that we have seemed to have become more accepting of that. We're shouting down truth seekers and truth tellers, and we're raising up and glorifying and people who lie and make stuff up, and continue to pass lies out, and the propaganda and stuff. Nobody's calling anybody else out on the carpet anymore, and if you do, you get accused of being racist or a homophobe or an Islamic phobe, or a conspiracy theorist, and it's ridiculous. You know what? I don't mind being wrong, so I'm going to continue to question. That's what you're going to get from me, and I think I've made that pretty clear over the times that I've done these videos. So, again, I have to ask, could you imagine after 9/11 that we allowed people to walk through the streets and stuff and say, American had it coming to them. They deserved it. All of the innocent people that died deserved it. I can't imagine the number of actual American citizens and stuff who would have come out to counter protest that. I don't think anything would have. I think the world would have stopped in a sense for our country. I mean, there would have been no schools open. I mean, we would have had millions of people in the streets to go out and meet those people if they were protesting that way. Just because to me they were going to try to insult our intelligence the way these protesters are trying to insult every peace-loving, good person in our country and stuff by spouting the stuff that they're saying, and they're trying to make it out like they're the good guys, and they're not. So, that now leads me to bringing up the fact of the war that's going on in Israel and against Hamas and Hezbollah, and basically let me, instead of me just repeating the many, let's just say Iran's proxies. I mean, Israel is having a war against the groups that Iran uses and stuff to fight their wars for them when they're a great distance and they're unable to reach. I mean, Iran has launched a bunch more rockets. I had seen. Wow. I mean, to sit there, it's a war. War is ugly. War is terrible. I think our service people, who I commend beyond better than I could, is their, I believe their basic thing is that they pray for peace, but they prepare for war. Until our species as human beings around the world are able to conquer evil, the sad thing is we're going to have war. Um, until we can get the evil of people to a level in our species, down to a level and stuff that it's a handful of people who just want to go, beat each other up, and that we can kind of corral them and put them over on the side, let them go beat the hell out of each other for all we care, so that the rest of us good, peace-loving people and stuff can live our lives in happiness and in comfort, knowing that they're all corralled and we're just not going to have wars and stuff. We are so far off from that, like I said, as a species. So I'm not saying as Americans, I'm not saying it as a Catholic, just human beings. We war, and the biggest tragedy of war is innocence getting away with the bullets. Not on purpose. I mean, they become those casualties. And it's terrible. Um, however, um, well, not however. I think what I want to say is I understand that there are, the Palestinian people are suffering because of Israel advancing into Gaza, going, north, south, and east, kind of spreading out and stuff, and trying to root out the Hamas and the Hezbollah, all of the Iranian proxies. They're trying to, push back on groups that were in the know or actively participating, and everybody in between, of what occurred on October 7th for the safety of their people. Because, in a sense of what I hear, what I've interpreted from Netanyahu is enough. October 7th brought the Israeli government to enough is enough. And they're going to eliminate Hamas, which they've been systematically, in a sense, doing. They're going to get rid of Hezbollah, is their intention. They're going to make their people safe for their country, Israel. And anyone that is sitting around saying they don't have a right to do that, or what they're doing isn't right, I think the reason why it's been going on for a year is because they have been trying to do it very meticulously. Now, I understand, let's just say I've read a few things about past wars. I'm not a scholar on world war history, but the fact is and such is that it's very interesting that a country is taking such a has been from the beginning taking such a meticulous path to try to minimize civilian casualties the best they can. But because of Hamas, in particular, is the example I'll use now, is the tunnels that are there, and their methods of operation within the Gaza and such. The only way to avoid casualties of innocent people in Gaza when this first broke out and everything was not to war at all. And that just wasn't going to happen. Again, I'm going to make my 9/11 reference. We were attacked on 9/11, and we had all the support in the world. Everybody basically said, if we go after who did this, they were going to get out of our way and such, or they were going to help, they were going to assist, they were going to sit there and not try to alter our path and such to go after Osama bin Laden and the Taliban, and so we did. To the weakness that has occurred of our country is the fact that we're letting Hamas, Hezbollah, Iranian proxies, even Iranian terrorists or sympathizers. I won't call them terrorists. They're Hamas Hezbollah, Iranian sympathizers to the terrorists that took part, planned, and encouraged October 7th to walk through our streets. Um, if they didn't feel comfortable enough and know that how weak our political uh, representation, namely the Biden Harris administration, they wouldn't be doing it. And why do I feel confident in that and stuff is basically what happened with 9/11. They didn't do it with Bush and Cheney sitting in the White House. Um, they did it because they thought they could get away with it, sure. Um, but once they did it and such, the people who supported them, their sympathizers, didn't all of a sudden start walking through our streets going, hooray for us, hooray for them. So you have to kind of, that's why we try to study history to see similarities. And to me, there's a certain similarity and stuff of what occurred on 9/11 to us, of what occurred to Israel. Um, we have, as a country, the current administration has prolonged this war based on just their language. Of course, nobody wants a world war. Nobody wants the Middle East to explode into uh, nothing but disaster and chaos. However, when you have an ally and you start telling the ally that you don't want them to hit back so hard and you want them to calm down after experiencing what they experience and stuff, their enemies hear that as, oh, apparently your best friend ain't got your back like we thought. So they continue to push the envelope, which is what Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran, encouraging their proxies, have been doing. They're getting world sympathy. In a sense, they are. They're getting their proxies, their sympathizers, to march through the streets of America as if they did something good, and we want it to have, hey, look, there's Americans that wanted us to do this too, is how they're probably interpreting it. And then you want to complain and stuff why Israel is still at war with these guys. They're getting rid of an enemy. We didn't stop in World War II when it came to going after the Nazis. We didn't stop. We went, us with the Russians and our allies and stuff, we went right into Berlin. We went right into their freaking kitchen. To the point that the Hitler, the coward himself and stuff, ended up killing himself because he didn't want to be taken prisoner. Similarity to what happened in World War II. So Hitler kills himself because we're basically going into his kitchen. I saw today and stuff that there was a replacement that they were trying to get for Hezbollah. One of the guys in the line of succession after Israel has gotten rid of him and such, got, the other leaders or whatever, I guess they were down to this guy, and I saw a thing and stuff that he turned around and was kind of sweating. I don't know, it's because of the weather over there or something, but he was going, I don't want the job. No, thank you. Find somebody else. Dabbing his head, dabbing his face and stuff because he was sweating and such. And there was a, I'm not going to make it a big thing. It wasn't like he was wetting his pants and stuff, but you could tell in his eyes and his expression and stuff. He was nervous. He was nervous. I'm gonna be kind about it. If you can look it up, look it up. Watch it for yourself and tell me what you see. Tell me if you see somebody who, wants to be the leader of a group of terrorists and stuff, or even if he would have wanted to come over to this country and walk through our streets. I didn't see that guy. I saw a guy who wants nothing to do with it. That I believe, if I remember, well, I know it was only today. It was a lot I was reviewing, but I believe he denounced Hezbollah. He wants nothing to do with them anymore. Which to me kind of tells me, if Biden and Harris and their administration really got behind Israel the way they should have, like a true ally of Israel, uh, this would have gone a lot quicker because there would have been a lot more nervous Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran. Well, let's just say the Hamas and Hezbollah leaders and stuff. There would have been a lot more nervous ones, even walking away from them. And I think if we had put restrictions and really turned the screws to Iran and such, and quite honestly, tried to undo the stupidity of giving them their billions of dollars and stuff to operate. If they would have tried to undo that, most of that, as quickly as they tried to undo President Trump's executive orders that secured our border, we probably would have been done, or Israel would have been done with this war, and no more civilians on either side, Israel's or Palestine's side, would have been killed. That again, that's just kind of how I view it and such. But because there was these reports coming out that we weren't going to send them certain munitions, and we didn't really want them. We wanted them to ceasefire. I mean, geez, before anything got off the ground, it seemed like everybody wanted a ceasefire right away, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Israel had the right to defend itself, but the UNRWA, there were about a dozen of the UN folks who apparently were Hamas sympathizers or actually active in Hamas, from what I understand. When this all started a year ago, and I within the first day or two, a couple of days it seemed, or week, the first week, Israel practically didn't get off its first shot. And Biden and Kamala and we're already asking and requesting Israel and stuff for a ceasefire. Not to hey, don't go too far. And I was like, wow, why? I said something's wrong. Something's going to come out. And then when the UN thing came out, I said, oh, okay, now it starts to stink a little bit. You get that little distant fragrance of a skunk. That something's going on. And lo and behold, we find out that there's UN workers and stuff that were involved with Hamas and actually either assisted, provided help, or was actively participant in what happened on October 7th in attacking Israel. People that are supposed to be from the UN, where we're supposed to discuss our disagreements and seek peace and be able to work out our differences between countries. That's the purpose of it. Sorry, but I'm sure other people out there got the same feeling and stuff. There's a level of corruption in the UN and such. They're not supposed to be putting their thumb on the scale. As a body, I mean, the upper echelon, whoever the president of the UN is, and all the, they're supposed to work together and such to maintain world peace, to help not, pick and choose sides. If they pick and choose sides, what's the purpose of them? I mean, we might as well go back to pre-UN, and then we'll have our side, they'll have their side and stuff, and guess what? We'll break out in wars like that. I mean, is that what they're trying to do? They're trying to break down and bring down everything? I mean, I feel that there's people at work and stuff trying to bring down this country. So now they're trying to, the nerve of people that, and I'm sorry to say this, but where are the parents of the kids that are walking around going from the river screaming out to the river to the sea, and then they don't know what the hell that means? or they're going along with the bullshit commentary of what they were told riveted from the rivet to the sea means. I, boy, there's so much of that kind of stuff and stuff that just infuriates me. If it was my kid, I would so tweak their ear, sit them down, and go, if you still, I'm going to talk to you about what the real meaning of that is. And if you still feel you want to go out and march, I'm going to turn around and tell my kid, go and march. Go ahead and express yourself. But you better have facts on your side, because I'm big on that. You want to turn around and go, oh, well, somebody told me that, the tragedy of all of those innocent people are being killed. You didn't see one video of what they did to those babies, to infants. They kidnapped the infants. They still have the infants. We hope those infants are still alive. Then you don't know nothing. You're marching with a mask on your face and stuff because you don't want people to see you, because somebody's going to retaliate against you. No, they're not going to retaliate against you. It's to show who you are. Because you know what? I'm putting my face out there and stuff because of the things I believe in. And I believe in them that strongly that I'm here talking about them. There's no mask. I'm not doing a code. I'm not making stuff up. I'm giving the best facts because these are the facts I have. If somebody has other facts to provide me and stuff, please do. But the biggest point is and such is that the fact that people, kids, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'll put the sympathizers got these kids as little puppets. I'm going to talk about the kids that are in Columbia University and some of the other universities that they think that they're, people of the kids of the world or whatever and stuff, that they're greatly educated. I don't think they learned anything. They certainly have not learned how to find facts on their own. They're just doing what they're told. And whatever facts they were told is the facts they're going with. I'm sorry to say and stuff. I think I've done it in a previous video, and I'll do it again now. My generation, okay? I'm going to speak directly to you. My generation, you know who you are out there. We need to apologize to our children that we did not raise them the right way, because that's what they're doing. This is not about the Vietnam War, folks. This is not the 60s. This is about not being untethered to just do whatever the hell you want. And that's wrong. And that's something you shouldn't do to kids. You definitely should not pour garbage into their heads either. And garbage. Racism, any form of racism, any form of bigotry, any form of discrimination. You should discourage them from that. You should tell them what's wrong with it. I mean, we're not talking about, what do you want for dinner, kids? We're talking about, you know what? It's okay not to like somebody, but you don't have to go out of your way and stuff to make the person you don't like their life miserable and make them feel like they're subhuman. Nazis did that. I mean, that's how that kind of stuff happens, and that's what I first grab out to and such, because that was the most evident. Go back and look at that kind of history and stuff. That's why it's almost like a godsend and such that COVID occurred, so that parents could hear and see what teachers were pumping into the kids' heads. I'm big on STEM, folks. Science, technology, engineering, math, stuff like that. That's give them the facts and then let them make the decision. And we didn't do a good job. Our generation did not do a good job. I mean, there's some of you that are wondering, what do you mean? My kids are great. I'm not talking to you. You know who you are out there. If you could turn around and honestly say, I brought up my kids to be respectful, to learn what the truth is, to get the facts and not just allow their feelings to just control every decision that they make. If you can say that and stuff, you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. You really are. Feelings are important and stuff, but facts have to matter. You can't operate strictly on emotion. You have to have facts in there. That's the well balance. That's how come, to me, kids are not They're not feeling it. That's why we probably have so much mental health issues with our youth today. They don't feel that balance. And that's what you got to do. You got to help them balance it. They have a right to feel how they feel. Not denying that and stuff, but it's got to be based on fact. I can't be happy if I'm watching kids get slaughtered by one group of people because the other group of people, they just don't like them. Yeah, I understand there's been a holy war, a religious war going on in the Middle East and stuff for many millennia. But the fact is and such is that if you see any of that somebody just, comes over the border. I mean, that's like somebody walking into your house and stuff, killing your family and stuff, and the kid that survived is sitting there going, well, we kind of deserved it. Like, really? Like, that to me is what's going on. You didn't teach your kids the right things. It's not supposed to be acceptable. And we shouldn't be so selfish and stuff that empathy is evaporating. So we got to do better. We got to do better, folks. You got suggestions for me and stuff on how you think people can do better? I want to hear it, and I'd love to broadcast it because like I said, the weakness of our country has definitely been showing itself today on the anniversary of October 7th and what happened in Israel, and I hope they accomplish exactly what they're doing. I can't see anything being wrong with the fact that they're saying, here we come, this is what we're going to do, and this is where we're going to do it. Like, if they did that in World War II and stuff, I think, the Nazis would have turned around and said, "Oh, you guys kidding? You told us what you're doing. You told us where you're coming." Like, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, that's how rightly justified the Israeli government to me is, and the Israeli people. The Jewish people are right to defend themselves. These terrorists came after them, and they're going after the terrorists, and, if they want to wipe them off the face of the earth, good. Maybe that'll save even some of the Palestinian innocent civilians who are cowering in fear because these animals are terrorizing them to say, you back us up or we're going to kill you, kind of things. Because I can see that that's happening too. They're just, it's horrible. It's horrible. And our government, we're weak, folks. We got our election coming in less than 30 days. You better think long and hard out there and such who you're voting for. You got to talk to your neighbors. You got to talk to family even and such. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes you got to talk to your family, no matter what. My thing is and such is that we gotta have that conversation and keep it a conversation. But we gotta make a decision in less than 30 days on, are we continuing on the current path? And the current path to me and stuff has weakened our country, and everybody knows it. And it is in our streets. Do we want it to be worse? It's gonna get worse. I'm sorry to say and stuff, if we continue on what the current administration has been doing for 3.5 years, what we allowed the radical left's element that's in the Democratic Party. I think I said it last video and such. If you're a Democrat, it's no offense against you. You have to fix your party. You got to fix your party and stuff. There's something in your party and stuff that like I said, you're not going to get a John F. Kennedy out of there. You're not going to get a Franklin Delano Roosevelt. What you're working with right now. You have to reset your party and stuff to get them back. Those types of people back. We're not looking for perfect. Politicians aren't perfect. People aren't perfect and stuff. But I'll accept it. Because then I'll listen. I'll tell you that. I'll listen. Joe Biden, I was not listening to and stuff. The guy was in politics for 50 years and stuff, and he was horrible. Look back at his history. He lied. He was trying to make himself out to be something bigger than he was. Listen to the stories that he was telling. That's all he was doing. And now we have, Kamala Harris and stuff. Lies, you know. I mean, yeah, it's nitpicky about the whole McDonald's thing and stuff, but she's trying. I understand politicians try to do that kind of hyperbole, kind of make themselves relatable and stuff. But yeah, she doesn't have any answers. And because we don't have any answers and stuff, we have people walking through our streets cheering for terrorist groups. That's as simple as what's going on. And it's because they see how weak we've become. United we stand, divided we fall. And they're definitely, you know what? They're water on a stone. Eventually, the water's going to penetrate the stone, and we are going to separate, folks. We are going to become so divided and such that we're going to destroy, and we may not get it back. You better think long and hard, more than, hate Orange Man. You got to get past that. You really do. If you say that the policies, because you got to take all the policies, because my opinion is you voted for Biden because you thought he was going to protect Roe versus Wade, and we have this walking through the street, you're responsible for it. You're responsible for the people who lost family members because of the illegal element that came across our border and killed, raped, maimed your family members. If you voted for Biden and Harris, you're responsible for that. They may have been for the one thing that you were voting for, but anything else that comes with it, you have to take responsibility. You have to. You can't say, well, I didn't vote for that. Yeah, you did. You put them in office, they do it all. So you better make sure who you're picking and who you decide to vote for and such covers everything. And I'm not saying you have to get all the way down in the weeds and the granular sand of every single little detail of their policy and stuff, but you got to start looking for the facts and the truth, not just what they're telling you. Or we're going to continue to have marches like we've been having over Hamas and Hezbollah, and our kids stopping doing flagrant anti-Semitism, and nobody is stopping them. Nobody's stopping. That's how weak we are. Nobody's stopping. I can't imagine what has been going on when I was, in my 20s, in my teens. Can't imagine it. Can't imagine it. I mean, there used to be not the neo-Nazis or the Nazis or whatever marching wherever the hell they marched and stuff back in 70s and 80s and such. And they could have 100, they could have 1,000 Nazis and stuff marching and stuff. There was always 2, 3, 4, 10 times more people showing up at those rallies and stuff against them. Now, it's like, it has nothing to do with me. And wow, that's how weak we've become. America has become that weak. So I say less than 30 days. That's when we make the decision. We're coming to that crossroad, folks. You better make sure you're making your decision and who you vote for and stuff based on fact. You're going to have to turn around and say it's because of this policy, this policy, this policy. At least 3 policies that you're turning around and saying, absolutely, this country needs to be headed in that direction because that's the America I want. Because that's what we're going to get. And like I said, if I sound upset and angry and stuff over the fact that, people voted for Biden, yeah, I am. Because we wouldn't be in this mess if he wasn't sitting in that White House. That's something I believe in. And I'll have a discussion with anybody on that. So, knock on wood, folks. Again, I hope that we do change direction. I mean, Kamala's even talking about that we need to change direction and such, and that should tell you a lot. That should tell you a lot. She's part of the steering crew of what direction this country's been in for 3.5 years. Why would she want to tell you that it's changing? To me, she's telling you she's lying to your face. She's lying to your face. That's what she's doing. She's lying to your face. She's not going to change direction, and we're going to have more interruptions of kids in college and not getting there, and anti-Semitism is going to increase, and we're going to have more people being killed in the streets and such from gangs from South America and stuff, because they're not sending us their best folks. Are you kidding me? All of the people, I'm sorry to say, not all of the people and such are coming over here with the best intentions. So, Israel, I hope you get to do exactly what you're doing and such. Continue on. I believe me, I think there's a greater majority of American people and stuff that have absolutely no problem with what Israel is doing. Like I said, they have been meticulous. They have been very, very calculating. They're doing anything and everything that they can to go after the targets, which are the terrorists, the Iranian proxies. War, like they say, is hell. It is terrible that innocent people have to die because of the decision of a few evil people. And that's usually what it is, isn't it? But they have to make themselves safe. They have to make themselves safe. They have a right to exist. They have a right to exist. It's their country. Let them defend it, and we should do everything as Americans to support that. From the tops of our government all the way down, whatever they need. All right. Well, thank you again for listening, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to bring you back to the video link. Please, like I said, I'm trying to help make my ends meet and stuff utilizing these videos. I so ask and really appreciate if you would please get out to Rumble. Just register with them to follow my channel. The URL is there. It's going to help me monetize, and I want to see how far I can take it. I really am hoping. I mean, I have been getting some comments and some emails and feedback and stuff, but it's just been some complimentary, some non-complimentary, which is good. But it just I'm not getting enough traffic, and it's not impactful enough and stuff to me to really do a whole video to just kind of circle back on anything. But if I had more feedback and I saw, okay, I'm getting a real feel, I would definitely do another video to rehash or review a previous topic that I've already covered. But I really, truly would appreciate if you can follow my channel on Rumble, and please share. Ask people to tune in that might appreciate it, whether they'd agree with it or not. I'm not trying to tell people what to do and stuff. I really am trying to give a different perspective and maybe give another side that might not have been considered. And again, like I said, you can give me some feedback and opinion back my way and such that might make me take pause and rethink some of my opinions. I have no problems with that. You can always reach out and email me at njcgemini@verizon.net. Please make sure you put JMHO in the subject line and stuff so I don't miss your email. I don't want to overlook it. If you take time to write me your opinion or to communicate with me, the least I should do is be able to get back to you and such, and acknowledge that you took that time. I should take the time to get back to you, and I absolutely will. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video. Go back and review some of my past. I'm gonna, because I've been out of work, that's kind of why I've been a little off schedule and such. Because looking for a job and trying to keep things together and such. It does sometimes interfere with the time and such, but I'm going to try to get on a better schedule. I think right now, if it's possible, I'm going to definitely make more of an effort to try to get these videos out with a little more consistency and a little more frequent, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, like I kind of hoped. And like I said, I'm also going to be hoping to do a podcast. I'm really considering that at this point. So that's a possibility might be occurring, particularly with the election coming up here in the United States. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope I see you come on again real soon. Again, this is all just my honest opinion. That is Mike Caraccio, and I'll see you next time.